computer. Yeah, there we go. Morning, everyone. My name is Brad Roltgen with the Fresno Bitcoin and Cryptocurrency Investors Group. Today, we are just going to kind of look over what each of the coins we're holding and hopefully learn from each other. I don't want it to get into a Ford versus Chevy battle kind of thing. My coin's better than your coin type of thing. But I'm sure that we'll all be able to learn a little bit here and there. Um, does anybody want to start us out and share what you're holding? And we're not interested in how much you're holding, 10 million, 10,000, you know, $14, whatever. It's more of a breakdown, how much Bitcoin are you holding versus Ethereum versus Solana versus whatever kind of thing. So that's kind of what we're looking, and then a little bit of a uh, reasoning behind that. Like I have Theta, and I'll share why I'm holding Theta. And maybe you know about Theta, maybe you don't. Hopefully, you'll learn a little more well, I'll learn a little more by the end of the day. Um, all right, we got an AI assistant helping out Victor. Cool, cool. All right, anybody want to get us started?
Do you
I can
want us
start.
to tell you or just
If it depends what you have, maybe let me start, and then you guys can jump in here and there. Let me share my other screen here. There's share. All right. So this is the Google Doc that we're sharing today, and I've dropped my breakdown in here. So I've got, a good chunk of Bitcoin, 58%. Probably, that's self-explanatory. Theta is one that I have been holding, geez, probably 6 years. And Theta, just a real quick description on what they do is if you think of YouTube, but distributed, where they have the videos shared out amongst their users, as opposed to data centers of video, that kind of thing. They've started doing a few other things, and Let me share that. And I just recently kind of got into these other deals because they've added what they're doing. So you can run different nodes and get paid, to run the nodes. And so I'm running what they call a Theta Edge node. And so this is like a 8-year-old computer that's been sitting around, so I have it working. So these are these little jobs that it's doing. And then, so it's always been video encoding. That's been the big thing. Well, recently, last couple of years, they added an AI coin and some AI functions. So sometimes my computer works on these AI functions, and then I earn Levita is the token. So I got zero point 0.2 of a Levita there at, well, about an hour ago. And right now I'm doing a rendering job, and I'll earn the Theta Fuel just like I did the Theta Fuel for the video encoding. And so you can see what my balance is and then what my pending balance is. They always dump the funds into your wallet after the first of the month kind of thing. So I think Theta's actually doing some things, and you can get involved this way as well to earn a little extra coins as well. But I'm holding that one because they seem to be doing something, and obviously video is going to be around for a while. XRP, um, I've had for a while. I really got interested when the SEC started going after Ripple and that whole organization. I figured that would be a good time to buy, and it's worked out well. As well as XLM. Those are both part of, I know we've talked about this here and there, is the quantum financial system. And this is basically kind of a replacement for the banking system that's been around for years. They talk about, what is it? Theoretical model uses quantum computing, blockchain, and AI to build a better mousetrap, basically. It sounds like there's been some, like Chase, Wells Fargo, and I think another big one have been doing some testing with that. And there's this graph. and I've seen different versions of this talking about how these different coins are used in the quantum financial system. And this is a simpler one, so that's why I have this one. Um, but we've got Ripple up here.
I'm not seeing the graph. Is
Oh,
anyone else seeing the graph?
shoot, I'm sorry. I'm not sharing the right one. Hold on. Let me, sorry. Thanks, Lino, for helping me there. Here we go. Okay. Is that better?
Yes, there we go. Oh yeah,
All
I've
right.
seen this before. Yes.
Yeah, and there's different versions of it, but it talks about the different coins. So we got Ripple, Stellar is XLM, and what they're doing. The Quant coin,
In
Hedera hashtag,
Algorand.
XDC. I mean, XDC, I remember trying to, I don't know if I was mining that or something way back. I haven't heard about that one much. Algorand is makes sense. That's
Yeah.
that's the one that the Lofty that we talked
Oh
about,
yeah.
the real estate platform that
Yeah.
they use. So very inexpensive transactions. So when they talk about pure POS, point of sale system, that makes a lot of sense. And then IOTA down here.
So
So
those are the ISO 2020 ones, right? ISO.
correct. The ISO 20220, right.
Okay, yeah. So out of this list, the ones you pointed out, what a little bit I know of, XDC is hard to buy here. That one's hard. So that one, you can look at it both ways. Algorand's listed everywhere, but Robinhood, they're not listed there like Stellar XM, HBAR, and the other Ripple. And the allocation for Ripple and Stellar and HBAR, I believe it's like at 65%, like, and Algorand's at 85%. So they have more out there as far as releasing tokens. So there's a lot more tokens for Ripple, Stellar, and Hedera hashtag
Okay.
that can still be released, if that makes sense. And Algorand has mostly released all of them already, which is good if you want to get more of the upside. It's
Got,
good because
got it.
they won't dilute it as much. So that's what I know about those.
Right. And XRP, when they first launched, they kind of over diluted the market and they pulled back, I think, half,
Yeah, yeah.
at the time or something like that. So they're like, oh, we have too much out there. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for adding to that. So let me go back to my chart here. XRP, T Fuel, that's the kind of the little sister to the Theta. That's the one they earn. And then Ethereum, I obviously don't have a whole lot. I thought my percentage was a little higher there. And then Solana, that's the one that really surprised me because I have these in different wallets and a couple exchanges. I haven't moved to wallets, and so this was very illustrative for myself just to do this. And then the algo there, I mostly have that because I've got a balance in the Lofty platform there. So anyway, that's what I had. Any questions or anything you guys have for me on there?
So you have three of the four ISO 2020
Yeah,
tokens. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Which is smart. I like that. I don't have any Theta. Zero. I have everything else. Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, and you've got a lot. I mean, I've talked to people that have, 50, 100, 150 tokens and, it's the challenge is managing them at some point, but that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay. All right, who's next that wants to share?
I can go.
Okay,
Mm,
go for it.
maybe-
And if you want to
maybe-
share your screen, you should be able to, I said it to multiple, or if you want to just talk about it or whatever you want to do.
No, I'll share my screen. Let's see. Mm, Share. Okay. Do you see my list?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. So, and I only started into crypto this year, and I actually created my portfolio early in the year. I haven't looked at it too much since then, but the kind of two approaches you can take, right? So either you take a fundamental approach when you select a token, which is kind of what Brad, you were talking about, why you pick something. or you have a technical approach, like something's trending or you see momentum. And so what I did is I didn't really have a lot of time, but I wanted to get in this to have some skin in the game. So I took kind of a diversified approach, much as you would do with stocks, where you pick several stocks in each sector. So this is kind of a throw spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. I have a small portfolio, but highly diversified across 40 tokens, 2 pages here. And the way I diversified was by the narrative or, the theme. So that's shown in the first column here in alphabetical order. So they're grouped together. And then I have actually the name of what the token is and the ticker and some information about the chain and the layer. So I won't go through all 40 of these, of course, but I'll just quickly go through the various categories or narratives. Of course, you have AI here, integration, decentralized physical infrastructure, digital currency, DeFi. These are basically exchange tokens, Ethernet staking. Some of these narratives, I'll say that some tokens can fall in more than one, and sometimes it can be a little bit subjective about which one you choose or how you look at it. So, you could argue with me on some of these. Of course, gaming, meme coin, not much in the meme coins. Most of these are serious fundamental themes or narratives. Sorry for that beeping. That I have a remote sensor on my mailbox when the mailman comes. I didn't know that was going to go off right now. And then layer two for transaction scalability and cost efficiencies. So what I'm planning to do when I have time is load all of these in a portfolio tracker. I was looking at a crypto market cap, and that'll also categorize them by narrative. And then I can not only see how my coins are doing, but I can see which narratives or sectors are, moving relative to each other. And so this is a HODL. Obviously, this is something I really wasn't planning on doing anything with for 3 or 5 years. So I just sort of see how things go. So it's probably a little bit different than if you have an edge. So you're have some insider information about a certain narrative or a coin or a technical edge, and then you want to concentrate your edge on that particular coin. You don't want to throw spaghetti against the wall like I'm doing. But anyway, this is how I've done it.
Okay, let me ask you about one. If you'll scroll to the second page there, you've got the NFT, the Grid Pass, the Williams, and I'm guessing you got that on Kraken.
That's right.
Yeah, and so I did as well, and I think I have 3 others of theirs, and they recently announced that they're no longer supporting NFTs. I don't know
Hmm.
if you saw that, but
No.
I tried to transfer my NFTs over to a MetaMask wallet, and it kept giving me an error. So I was just wondering if you had successfully transferred that NFT off of Kraken.
No, I wasn't even aware that they're no longer supporting it. I guess Williams stopped their sponsorship or something.
Well,
Because
no, 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 no. This is more Kraken themselves is not supporting NFTs.
just in general.
In
Oh,
general, it's not specific to
oh,
this one.
okay, I understand
So
now.
I don't know the sponsorship things or whatever. I
Yeah.
normally follow F1, but I'm kind of behind on watching the races. But anyway, so okay. I think we have till February to get them off. So which actually now isn't that far away. But
Okay, that's good to know. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I think
yeah,
I have like 5 of those because they come out with these promotions. And
right.
yeah, I'm not
He's
into racing either. But if you were, this is an interesting use of an NFT. It's not just like a silly token
right.
where it's a membership so that if you actually go to the race, you get some perks, like you might be able to meet the drivers or get a discount on swag.
Yeah, or get access to a certain area that you could normally. Yeah, no, it's a great thing use for NFTs. Are there, you know, you mentioned you have a lot of them, obviously. Are they equally weighted, or do you have a higher percentage in 5 of them versus the rest of them?
So when I initially bought all of them, I bought them in the same dollar amount. So they all started off as equal. So when I finally get these into a portfolio tracker and see how each one is done, I'll know, relative to each other because they all started out the same.
Okay, yeah,
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 interesting.
that's good to know too. That's good.
Yeah, cool. Okay, thank you. If you, I don't know if there's a way you can get me that file and I can add it to our Google Doc. Um, that would be good just to, have all the documentation in one place.
Sure, just so long as you know that I'm not recommending anything here.
Right. No, no, none
This
of
is
this is
literally
financial advice, right?
yeah,
We're
this
not
this
professionals,
yeah,
right?
this is literally throwing spaghetti against the wall and see what sticks. The way I pick these, of course, because you can choose from thousands of tokens, right? Is just what I was hearing about in the news, or I would see come across a ticker at the bottom of the TV. So I was thinking, well, somebody's paying attention to this, so it's got some attention value. So that's how I narrowed down to this from the whole universe.
Okay. Yeah. No, and I mean there might be three tokens that Michael has never heard of and he wants to he's trying to narrow down, he wants to put another chunk of change and maybe find some of those useful. So that'd be great. Hey, Robin, great to have you here.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
All right, I hope everything's okay with the wife.
Oh yeah, no, we're good. She's getting her hair did right now. And
Perfect timing. Okay.
yeah, I've got about maybe actually 10, 15 minutes before I gotta leave to go pick her up. But I thought
Okay,
I'd
let's
jump on. Yeah.
jump in and share and just in my Telegram group I was giving Robin some shit for choosing his wife over us. So I'm glad at least we got a
Oh,
little bit of him.
what's going on here?
Uh,
So go ahead, Robin. Go ahead and share and let us know what we should do.
well, I don't take advice from me by all means, but I don't. Unfortunately, I didn't have much time to prepare. I was hoping to put together a similar spreadsheet to the one that you were showing there, without showing my portfolio and all its values in it.
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know if I want to share all that, but I can yeah, and I just like plop down here real quick, but I can just talk for a minute. I know I noticed that whose was that was just sharing right now?
That
Phil,
was Phil's that was just
Was
on.
Phil? Oh
Mhm.
yeah, I know it's I know it's funny you're saying, well, there's like yeah, thousands of cryptos out there to choose from. And so I was kind of curious to see like who here, like where we would overlap, if at all, on
yes, me
any of
too.
those.
That's a
Yeah,
good question. Yeah.
I think of that whole list. I mean, I was familiar, or I'd heard of maybe half of those at least, but of that list, like the ones that I had any real experience with, well, was Monero. And like actually, I went down a whole that when I first kind of really got into crypto. My mom kind of actually got in before I did, and she started buying Bitcoin in like 2018 or 2017. And but then we went down the whole privacy coin rabbit hole, and I was in this other privacy coin group for a couple of years or a few years. I'm still in it. I mostly ignore them now, but but there is something to be said about that. And there's like, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of other privacy coins like that, but it seems like Monero is the accepted one, and that's what everybody knows. And I think that one probably still seems promising. I don't hold any of that anymore. I still have some of my other old privacy coins, but I've kind of mostly gotten out of it. But it probably is good to have regardless. But I noticed we had a bunch of Monero, and was it they when it got delisted early, like the beginning of this year, it was delisted from where was it? It was Binance or something. It's one of the big tier one
Hmm.
exchanges, and it went from like $150 to like 115 overnight. And a bunch of people just dumped it, but then eventually it bounced back, and it's been at like 150 like all year. And then I noticed it's still in my watch list on Coin Market Cap, and I noticed I was like, oh crap, like it's back to $200 this week. So it's that I guess that's probably got a promising future. And then the other one I noticed that you have on there is Helium. Did have you actually ever used the miners or anything like that, or any experience in that, or is it just
No, it's just an investment. That's an interesting one because it gets into wireless and cellular replacement. And
Yeah,
so from my way of thinking, the way I approach this, I was just interested in having a sample of each sector, what I thought of as a sector of
sure.
technology or the economy. And
Yeah.
that's very prominent in that particular narrative.
It is, and well, I got into helium because I started in like early 21 doing and getting into mining, and I was doing like Ethereum GPU mining and stuff, and then helium became like a hot thing with the helium, just the IoT hotspots is what it
Right.
started off as, and you have like I've still I had like 5 or 6 of them up on various houses at one point in time between like all my family's house and everything. And my mom's the one at her house. She's up in Washington State, and she still has hers up in her back. I didn't even think to check on it for a while because like by the time we got into it, the market was already kind of flooded where everybody had gotten into it, and then the price had kind of spiked and come back down, and and then they but then they moved to the Solana chain. They've done a lot. It's very well developed, and the mobile hotspot thing for the cellular network does sound pretty cool and pretty promising. And you can actually get cell phone plans that'll use it. So yeah, I think that's a very useful technology, I think, going forward, and hopefully that does have a lot of promise.
Cool.
And that's why it's
Um,
good to have a little piece of everything because you
Yeah,
never know.
exactly. Yeah, yeah, and it's as opposed to just having 90% plus of your portfolio and just one thing. Yes, I think it is probably good to spread it out, and which is what I've kind of done. Well, I don't know. I don't know how much we've talked, or I know I haven't been as involved in this group in a while, but that's I was saying like I just through like crypto mining and everything. That's how I got into Caspa it like it was like August of 22 and started mining that and buying that and kind of realized early on that it was a great tech and so I just kind of was hoarding it and did very well with Caspa. I think my average buy-in price was well under a penny. And so it got to the point where that really took off. And just the beginning of this year, I sold off, I traded off like 80% of what I had and moved it into about a dozen different coins at this point. And yeah, and all of them I've got kind of what Phil was saying. I think it was or Steve was who was Phil. Sorry, I'm having trouble keeping track of everybody. Yeah, I moved into and I've got like one or two. I think I've got like one gaming coin that looked really good, and then a couple decentralized finance, and then a couple. Um, what else? I've got like one or two meme coins. I have like one meme coin that I really don't traditionally like meme coins, or I just don't. They're risky. They can be risky. But for whatever reason, this year, like meme coins are still like a hot, like super hot item. And if you got into the right one at the right time, then you could do very well. I don't know. Anyways, all that to say, yeah, the spreading out of the portfolio, I think, is definitely a wise thing to do. But yeah, this week, this past few days, I don't know about you guys, but man, I keep waking up every day like looking at my phone every 10 minutes. And it's like, oh my God, I'm making more money. I'm making more money. Like,
Yep.
it's kind of nice. I'm waiting for, I mean, we already had, and I've seen people saying, we just wait for Bitcoin to, it could retrace like 20% at any moment. And then if that happens, the altcoins are really going to take a hit. But I mean, we saw, I don't know if it was yesterday where it went from like 100,000 to like 93 in a few minutes. There was like a big sell off, but then it bounced right back. Um, so I don't know if that's gonna happen anytime soon. It seems like the market, and it's at the point I kept saying all year, or like the past couple of years, there's so much negative sentiment in the public around cryptocurrency And every time I would hear someone talk about it on the news, or everyone's saying, "Oh, it's a scam," and this and that, blah blah blah. And I said, wait until we get to the point where they're talking about it on the news again, and it's a positive sentiment, or or you hear your friends asking you about it who normally have nothing to do with crypto, and we're at that point now. I feel like,
Yeah, we
where
were
I have
talking about
people
that
that
at the
want.
beginning. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
yeah. So sorry,
That's back.
I'm coming in late.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It was
It's-
just it was like fascinating because I've gotten calls and Lino, was getting messages and calls from people. And it's like, yeah, that's definitely a sign of something's going on.
Yeah, so it's very very exciting times now. Finally, we've been waiting for
Out
a
in the,
long
wi-
time.
the winter for a while. Yeah,
It has been, yeah. It feels like it's been a couple years.
good
So,
deal. Okay.
anyways, I don't want to talk forever and take up all your guys' time, but
Yeah, no, appreciate. Glad you could jump in. And I remember the Castle was one. I remember when you first mentioned that in the Telegram group, and it was like, yeah, I'd never heard of that, and obviously I should have bought some then. So,
yeah, c'est la vie. Well,
yep,
regardless, I think we're all pretty well prepared, and this is going to be a great bull run. It seems like, and I think everybody. Again, and yeah, we're at that point where it's like you could probably throw a dart at a dartboard and hit a random crypto, and it's going to do 5x in the next 6 months or something, possibly. So
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
and the key is just getting out at the right time, I think.
Or holding forever, depends what our use for that. If it's retirement
Sure.
and we're in our, and we're in our early 40s or something, well, we've got time to go. So don't worry
Right.
about getting in and out all the time, type of
Yeah.
thing. So just
Everybody's
depends.
situation is different for
hmm
sure.
hmm You
Yeah.
brought up something, and maybe other people can chime in on this. As you mentioned the meme coins, and
Mm,
I've always told people when you get started, you kind of stick with the top 10 in market cap. Well, we've
sure.
got Doge and Shiba Inu up there now. So are they still a meme coin, or are they, it's
Yeah.
just like I can't
Well,
if
yeah, it's like they're a meme coin, but the thing is too, well, and that was part of the rest of my strategy in general is like most like 90% of what I have in my portfolio is all on Coinbase. So it's where like when John Q. Public comes in and decides they want to get involved in crypto, where are they going to go? They're going to like probably download the Coinbase app,
right.
or I mean like PayPal. You can buy crypto on PayPal and all the money apps and stuff they have. Maybe like the top six or something, like Bitcoin Cash and things like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. The
not the
Ethereum,
top six,
Bitcoin,
but
and yeah.
yeah, but that was part of. I mean, yeah, they're meme coins, but to the normie who comes into crypto for the first time and doesn't know any different, they say, "Oh, I've heard about this Dogecoin because everybody's talking about it," or whatever, and they don't understand what DPIN is or versus it's like
Right.
where are they going to put their money? Like they think they're I'm put $10 in this and it's going to turn into 100 tomorrow, and
hmm
it's a lot of it's just hype and you
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
But
Cool. Cool. Okay. Who else wants to share?
Well, I'll jump in, Brad.
Okay.
I know we've already talked about it, but I mean, it's just this is monumental, don't you think?
Back it up a little bit.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
oh
too
boy.
close.
Sorry.
We
There
can't
you
read
go.
it.
There you
There
go.
we
There you
go.
go.
Oh
There you
wait.
go.
Oh,
You
Yeah.
date it?
there it
Did you
is.
date it for us?
Yes.
Bitcoin 100,000. I mean, I know, we talked about different things, but I mean, that's a pretty monumental thing. And I remember last year, Brad, at one of the meetings over there at me and Ed's, you'd ask, where would we be? And my guess last year, probably around November, was 129,000 by the end of this year. So I'm pretty close,
hmm
103,000.
You still have
So,
time.
but that was a pretty fun day right there. I don't have a list to show you because I'm pretty much not by design, but just by action is pretty much a Bitcoin maximist. I probably have 98% of my crypto is in Bitcoin, and then the other part is in Solano. I did try to buy some Sui because my good friend there, Lino, had mentioned it, but my stupid bank, BMO, wouldn't allow me to connect uh, with um, uh, with Coinbase to
On
buy some.
exchange.
And some banks are still have their heads firmly planted in a dark, deep, nasty place. And so
You'd probably
they,
doubled it if you bought it that day, huh?
so yeah, I would have doubled because I was looking, it was like 250, 260, and now it's like, I don't know, 410 or something,
Yeah, it's up there.
you know?
That Bank of
So yeah,
Montreal. Yeah.
that annoys me. So I do have some other ones that I want to buy, but I'm sort of in a precarious situation right now between my wife and I, and so I have to be careful as to what I purchase now, so that she doesn't.
We understand.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
So, but those are my two. They were bought quite a long time ago. Solano around 44, and my average on Bitcoin is 17.1
Nice.
per coin. So, you know, I'm very happy with the return on that. But I've just been. It's so hard with all the different coins. The only way that I'm interested in SUI and other things like that, and maybe this helium that Phil was talking about, is because you guys are in it, right? Now I've gotten other friends of mine into some of the meme coins, Shibu, or how are they called?
Shiba, you know.
Yeah, Shiba, and then also Doge. Now, so I've done more for others than I have for myself, but I need to branch out a little bit, and I still think there's a long way to go. So I am open to suggestions that people have had success with things. I look to old Lino there. He's got some good ideas. I never even heard of Sui before.
Yeah, I think Algorand's the next one I would go especially for the
Algorand,
next.
okay.
Yeah, I would buy that over XLM, Stellar, or XRP, which I do have all of them.
Okay.
Okay, Michael,
Well-
let me ask you this: is since you said you're 98% Bitcoin, that kind of thing, but you're looking to kind of branch out, which
Yeah.
is probably a good idea. How much, say you had the neck, again, no dollar amounts here, but if you're going to put in additional new money into it, where would you want your Bitcoin to be as far as the Bitcoin versus what you did new? So are you looking to get like 50-50 between 50% Bitcoin, 10% SUI, 10%, whatever, helium, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How much do you want to stick with Bitcoin as your main coin? I guess is kind of what I'm asking.
Well, Bitcoin will always be my main coin. That won't ever change. I mean, I also have, quite a bit in IBIT, the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF. So I'm very heavily into that because it's worked out well for me. But on percentage basis, I'm probably just going to be adding 2 or 3% to these other things. I want to spread it around a little bit. We're in the middle of this bull market, which I think is going to, I don't know, I'd be interested to hear what everybody else says. But I mean, if you look at the charts from 13, 17, 21, we always had this run up and then run down, run up and run down. But the dynamics in the market are so different now because you have such tremendously deep institutional play in this now. I mean, these guys have put in billions of dollars, possibly across the board, $100 billion or more, which is still just a tenth of the worth of Bitcoin, or actually less. So, but I'll probably be adding 3 or 4% to each of those things. And I won't be changing what I own on the Bitcoin because I want those long-term capital gains. And so that's really my thing. And that's the way I bought a lot of Bitcoin. I would buy 10% here, 15% there. I guess you got to go, Robin.
Yeah, I gotta go. Thanks, you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't stay
All right,
longer.
man.
That's okay. Good to have you.
Okay, we'll
Talk
try to
soon.
get back on the next meeting. We'll see you later.
All right. Take care.
Take care, everyone.
So yeah.
Michael, I'd like to ask you a question. I was doing some Bitcoin YouTubing yesterday, checking things out. I saw a guy, Michael Saylor. You might be familiar with him. Michael
Oh yeah.
Huge Bitcoin cheerleader.
He is the guy. He is the guy.
Right.
There is nobody better than him.
He says stuff that the kind of stuff that drives us all crazy. He thinks Bitcoin will be $13 million
In 21 years.
1 year.
His
And he's got a
thesis is-
reason for that. He can show you why that's going to happen. That's what I like. But But irregardless of that, one thing that he said is that he no longer tries to time Bitcoin on buying on the dip. He just buys every week. He just buys every week. He doesn't care if it's at the peak, at the mid, at the low. He just buys every week. Is that kind of your style, or do you wait for the dip, or do you wait for what in your mind you think, okay, this is a little bit of a dip. I'm going to buy today.
Well, I've done in the beginning in 2017, July 2017, I just bought as I wanted to, right? Because from July to December, it just kept going up. Although you have $1,000 dips, which nowadays is no big deal. $1,000 dips happen in the time that we're talking right now. But at the time when it was only 5 or 6,000, $1,000 was a lot of money. So, but then in subsequent times, like when it hit its first high in the low 70s, and I bought more at 43, I bought more at 29, I bought more at 23, I bought more at 18, right? I'd buy 3 or 4% every time it went down. So Michael Saylor has a different viewpoint. Plus, he has the ability to um, raise cash and to buy. And so I want to use my cash as much. I want to make my cash do as much as possible. So if I've got 1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000, I want to be able to maximize that. His philosophy is we're gonna be here for 20, 30 years or whatever his case is. And I know it's 21 years for the 13 million. And by the way, that 13 million is just an average. That is not where he thinks it's going to, he thinks it could be much higher than that, as high as 45 million a coin. So that's how I buy. But I haven't purchased anything since the 18,000 range. But I mean,
Oh,
I'm happy with that. Like I said, my average is 17,146.
so you were buying it as it was plummeting. You were buying it on the way down, but
Yep,
you have a lot more on the way up.
I do. I do. And you remember in March of 2020 when the whole world went to shit and Bitcoin crashed and I bought like 10% because it was crashing. I didn't even catch the bottom. The bottom was in the $3,000 range. I bought 10% at 6,000. I put $600 is what I got at 603. So yeah, when it's crashing like that, because you and I, none of us here, at least as far as I know, are Michael Saylors. We're not billionaires. We're just guys that got an extra 5 or 10 or 30,000, whatever it might be, to kind of buy. So we got to make sure that goes as long as possible. And so I feel pretty confident. I mean, like I said, average is 17. I don't know where anybody else is at, but if you've been in it anywhere near as long as I bet you Brad's got some that's average 17 or less, right, Brad?
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, not enough, but
You
yeah.
know, well, yeah. I mean, I look back and think, man, I wish I'd been able to buy $6,000 coin. That would have been great, but I don't know. I'm happy with where I'm at, and that the way that I've done it has worked out well for me.
Yeah. And just to clarify, when Michael talks about he's buying 10%, he's talking about buying 10% of a Bitcoin
Yes, yes. So
on that
that's the way I
percentage
usually
wise.
bought. I would buy 3, 5, or 10% whenever I bought. And by the way, I got my machines back up running. I'm mining again.
Oh, cool.
And they're not making me a lot, but maybe it'll make me 5 or 800 bucks a year. And 10 years from now, maybe that 5 or 800 will be worth 5 or 8 grand, right? I don't care. They just sit over there and they keep my office nice and warm during the winter.
That's what I was going to say, because that's the other upside.
Yeah, I've got
Good.
like 5 GPUs running over there. So
Cool.
my daughter gets annoyed at me because she wants one of them for a new gaming computer. Daddy won't kick out his 3060 Ti's, but hey,
That's
babe,
okay. All right. Looks like Lino's ready to share. He's got his uh breakdown in the chat. I'm going to add that to the Google Doc. So go ahead, Lino. If you want
Yeah.
to share your screen,
Let's see.
that's great.
Let's see. I could do that, I guess. Oh, but is it sharing?
Uh, yeah, I see it.
All right. I was upset with Michael that he didn't have 100% in Haktui coin. Kind of irritating.
I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry I let you down.
So I like Brett, I have probably way too many, which is so funny. I'm glad we're having this conversation because I'm gonna start paring some of that down. But overall, I have mostly in Ethereum, 26%, Solana, 15%, ADA, 10%, Bitcoin, 8%, Skip Doggyverse, that one I'm struggling with. W is Wormhole, Sui, then I have 25%, over 25%, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that's the way, that's what I have right now. And I'm gonna probably go to the Google Docs too, Brad, and so it would, like out what the other guy said, I'm interested in how many are overlaying, how many do we have that are worth sharing the same, I'm kind of curious of that too. So
Yeah.
that's, that'd be good. That'd be good to know.
Yeah. So and just to clarify, the Dogeverse is not Doge. That's a different.
No, that's Doge first. That is not Doge. That is
Okay.
something else.
Okay. And now why so much more Ethereum than Bitcoin?
Just the fact of the percentage of how much more it's going to go up and how much more comfortable I am with Ethereum. Once the public finds out, that the coming president holds more Ethereum than anything, that's his largest holding. I think that's really going to pop more. So once that news gets out, I mean, I think Ethereum's going to, percentage wise, right? If Bitcoin goes 100, that we're going to double our money. Ethereum is going to go from 4 to 12 to in that
15.
range.
Yeah.
So your multiplier is better. So I'm very comfortable with Ethereum, right? So, and I want a more upside. So I have a lot of Ethereum right now. Solana, as you know, I have.
Similar kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so we talk about utility or function or what's the coin doing. Ethereum, I mean, could easily be the king of that. Now there's like Solana and
Right behind it.
and other ones that are kind of nipping at its heels kind of thing, but Ethereum's the one to beat in that arena kind of
So
thing.
if and of course I don't have my this is what the other gentleman was talking about, adding it to what Phil was saying, to add to like a tracker, right? So you can know where you're at. So I add and remove as I'm trading on different platforms. But if you look, I have way too many tokens. There's Sui right there, where I try to get Michael to buy. He wouldn't buy.
Hey, I tried that. My
Yeah, I
bank,
know.
my bank, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the experience there too, just to throw in, when I've been helping clients to, get set up, usually the smaller banks are easier to link to a crypto exchange. So the Chase might get rejected, but you go to like EECU or somebody like that, credit union or a smaller bank, they seem to have less restrictions linking to crypto exchanges.
Yeah, I haven't
Just
had
to throw
problems
out
with
there.
any of the banks. Michael's using a Bank of Montreal. That's a Canadian bank.
Well, the only reason I did that is because I was with Bank of the West and they bought Bank of the West.
Got
So
it.
I did eventually go over to Chase. Chase will link
Yeah,
up.
Chase is simple. Yeah,
Yeah,
Chase.
Chase will do
But if you
that.
go down, like I said, this is from top to bottom what I'm holding. So of course, Ethereum's the most. Solana, Cardano, Bitcoin. Don't buy that. I'm deep in that one. Wormhole, Sui, Dot, which I'm going to add more to this position here, this Algorand position.
Okay.
I think more upside. Aerodrone. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. This one was cool because this Foxy was the one, if you had a MetaMask wallet, they would airdrop you into your MetaMask for free. So I had like 5 MetaMask wallets and they dropped them on each of them, which was super cool.
Did you have to sign up for something or
No,
just did it?
if you're just actively using it. If you go look and download I think it's a Neon Network. It's probably sitting there. If everybody has MetaMask, it's probably sitting there. They gave you 500 free, 500 tokens. So you guys should all look at that. If you're interacting with MetaMask, just open up I believe the Neon Network, and you'll see an import token. It'll be sitting there because I saw it was sitting there, super cool. So that's sitting in your guys' wallet.
And that's actually a legit token, not one of these scam things that they airdrop in.
No, that's actually legit. That's from the MetaMask themselves, which is super cool.
Okay. And then that's where Foxy
So I
makes
did pretty well on that. Once they airdrop, I actually went and bought a bunch more. So I did pretty good on that one. I'm up, and I have I'll go recount, but I probably have free positions, probably about 17 free positions. What I mean by that is I have bought, it went up, I sold, now I'm just house money. So I have about 17 positions where it's not my money, it's the market's money that I'm in. Shiba, of course, Avalanche, Render. This one I'm not doing well. There's a bunch of Moonwell, Dog with Hat. These are the ones as we go down. Chill Guy. That one is interesting. I did pretty well on that one. That's a Solana based one. And as you go down, I own less and less and less. But I have a whole bunch of stuff that none of us should be buying or owning. But I'm a risk taker. I did big time. I crushed big time just 8 months ago. I killed that one. That was really good. Then Brad, because of Brad, he mentioned ICP about, I don't know, what was it 6, 8, 9 months ago? And then I spot it and it is tripled. I'm like, yeah, thanks, Brad. So then that's house money. So a lot of these lower ones are house money. Some of them are not. But yeah, I got so much here, as you can see. There's so much of it. So anyways, that's all I have. I for as long as I've been in crypto, you would think you know what I'm doing. I would know what I'm doing, but I really kind of don't. I mean, I started in 2012. I bet Bitcoin as low as $250 on Coinbase. So I've been around for a while. I've done it all. So right now what I see is doesn't matter, really doesn't matter. What matters is the community. Whoever's buying that stuff, no matter what the tokenomics is or what it does, it doesn't matter. So what I'm doing is I'm going to start exiting as more and more retail investors are coming up and buying. I'm going to start exiting some of those positions, and the ones that I really like, the ones that are on top, I'm going to keep adding to those. And the reason why you asked about the Bitcoin too, Brad, because I'm not this time around selling my Bitcoin. Knowing that I'm not going to buy as much as I should on this round because I'm not going to sell it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm not selling. I'm selling Ethereum. I got my exit on Ethereum. I'm selling Sui. I got my exits, but the Bitcoin I'm not. So that's why I don't want to go too heavy onto
Overload.
Bitcoin. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Absolutely.
And everyone's looking for the dip. Everyone knows the dip's going to come before Christmas. People are going to cash out, buy Christmas stuff. There's our dip. There's our next dip, and then we're going to go after and in January, we're going to go up after Christmas. Then we'll be back up. So I'm saving some dry powder for that dip that's going to about coming up. So
okay, good. And you've got the strategy. So
I got a strategy.
It may not be the perfect strategy, but you've thought that through, and you waiting to execute it when the time's right, or
Absolutely.
So good.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Awesome.
Lino, I've got a question about
Yes,
before you start sharing just now, about 15 minutes ago, and I wrote a note to ask you to repeat. You had a couple of suggestions of a couple of coins that you feel are about to take off, and I'd like to hear what I think you mentioned 2 coins and why you like those 2.
So that okay. That's and so when we're talking about this is the ISO 2020 tokens. That's when I said which one you should buy. So out of that, just that specific group, which is XLM, Stellar, XRP. Algorand, that group that Brad had shared, I would buy Algorand over any of those tokens. I would, and I'm going to. And the reason being is because you have, like we talked about, XRP and the other ones are around 65%. What we're talking about is they have 35% more to release. Okay, so that's not good for the market if you have a lot more to release. But Algorand has 85% already released, which is super good, right? The more they have ready released, the better for all of us, right? Because they don't dump it on the market. XDC would be another one only because it's hard for us to buy. And if it ever makes it to the American markets, it would go up tremendously. So the harder ones to buy are our advantage because we could buy them. The public can't because we know how to go get them. Does that make sense? So if that's an if. But Algorand is on all exchanges but Robinhood. Once it lists, and if it does list on Robinhood, you'll see another jump on that Algorand. This is only my opinion because of how much percentage is already out there and how much it can be out there. So that's the only way I'm looking. That's why I'm looking at it like that.
And so another side question, this little pie chart that you created, Which, what platform did you use?
Oh, that's CoinGecko. So all your stuff, like Phil was talking about, as we're buying, so you're gonna have to go back in history. So when you add your token to there, you're gonna have to go, what did you pay, and add it to there. That way you can see one nice chart where you're at if you're winning and losing. If you do it now and do it market price now, it's not your true price because you bought it at a different price point, either higher or lower.
So you got to go back into your transactions, find out who actually purchased it
What's
for.
your average? Probably best is what's your average, and then try to get as close as possible. And that way you can keep track in one place where everything is. Now, everything's spread out in 25 different locations, but centralized on CoinGecko of and you could, so that's what I did. And you could play with CoinGecko, like you could do different portfolios, like what ifs, if I did this, but you could add different portfolios. Like what if I just put everything in my Bitcoin and then your real portfolio, and does your real portfolio outperform that, which I did. I did that same scenario on several, in which, thank God, so far my portfolio has outperformed the other ones. So yeah, so that's the reason. So if you're taking a sector like this, I would pick Algorand, XDC. I wouldn't buy any more Ripple, Stellar, XM. I wouldn't. I'm not going to. I already bought those. I sold those years ago. So I like this for upside. So that would be a choice I would buy.
Okay.
And Michael's not going to buy it, and it's going to double, and he's going to be like, I should have bought it. Right, Mike?
Another one for tracking is this coin tracking info. They actually will help with reports for your taxes each year, but they actually connect to your Coinbase, your Kraken, your Binance.us account, and so they should be able, they can look and see you bought it 2 weeks ago at this price, a year ago at this price, that kind of thing. So that's another option.
Yeah, the tax one that you did, that was an awesome one because it keeps tracks. What is that one called? The one I use for taxes.
Oh, I think that one was Zen Ledger.
Is it? That one was great because when I did my taxes this year, it already had all the transactions connected to all the wallets I have, and I sent it to my CPA, and it was super simple.
Yeah,
that one was a good one.
But this one is one you can use just for free, and they don't charge you until you want to generate a report for your taxes.
Which is good. Yeah, for free. You're right. This is probably a better.
So, Steve, this is something that you could use and connect to your wallets and exchanges, and then it looks at the prices every day, and so it'll update, but it'll know how much Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever you bought, whenever, because it's actually looking at your exchanges.
So I wouldn't have to enter stuff in manually.
Correct.
Okay. And then, but it also will generate nice little creative charts if you'd like it to, like the one Lino has.
I believe so. I think that's almost the default, like your dashboard. When you log in, that's what you see, kind of thing.
Okay. All right, Brad. I'll go
next. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a real good one to do.
Yeah, and it's free, so it's not like you're shelling out $100 or $50 kind of thing. So, okay, good. Who else would like to share their portfolio and drop
Brad,
their...
Brad, I'll go, but I'm just going to read mine, because I don't have anything graphed out right now. And just so you guys know, I'm glad to be. This is my first time ever with you on your meeting. I appreciate everything I'm hearing. I got a lot of questions, and but I'm not going to ask them all today. I'll save some of them. But I'm at 57% in Bitcoin, 12% in Solana, 10% in XRP, 9% in Ethereum. And Lino, you're really challenging me there, man. 9% doesn't sound like it's enough. But Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, FET, 5%, Mogecoin, 3%, and Stellar Lumens, which is XLM, 1%. So I really only own 7 different pieces of crypto, and I'm relatively new. I'm trying my best to stay in, like the top 10, get in there, and then dally around a little bit with some of the smaller coins and stuff, and much smaller investments there. But I'm really paying attention. I'm writing down notes on the things you guys are saying. To me, it seems, Brad, and I can get you my percentages by the end of the day if you want to create that master spreadsheet that you were talking about. I hear almost all of us are in Bitcoin, Solana, XRP, Ethereum, and then it starts going different places after that. But when you're talking about what does this group overlap on, that's kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, on those last couple that you mentioned, do you want to share why you did that or any brilliance there that we should know about?
No, just that's some of the stuff for me is gambling. I don't know it, and in a way, I've got a slice of Lino mentality. You know, is this, at some point it doesn't matter if that's where the community is buying. I'm looking at that. So to give you an example, MoCoin, I couldn't tell you what they do. I couldn't tell you what Stellar Lumens does. You know, I could tell you what Bitcoin, Solana, XRP do, but on these other ones, I just see that there's a lot of movement going on, and so I just jumped in for very small amounts. So it's not threatening to my portfolio at all. I mean, I could lose the whole thing, you know, but and I wouldn't lose a moment's sleep over it. But so those smaller ones, I just been looking around and seeing, you know, I'm sure you guys see, you know, what does the community think on this coin at this moment? 93% say it's blasting off, you know, and so, you know, it's kind of a grabbing the moment on some of that stuff, but I don't want you to think I'm putting a lot of my portfolio in that. So some of that is, some of these I look at as investments. Um, um, like Michael was talking, or I can't see everybody anymore, but yeah, like Michael was talking about, I'm not selling Bitcoin right now. I'm not interested. That's an investment. Okay. These other ones are more like speculative. And so I just dabble with that.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and you have two that are in the ISO 2020 right now, which is XLM you said you had, and XRP.
Yeah.
So those are like correlating pairs. They kind of go up together.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Yeah, yeah. For the
No,
most part.
yeah, so maybe he could use some algo
Yeah,
like you
so
mentioned on that
algo.
one.
No,
Algo, I think will give you the most upside today, but I could be wrong.
okay.
Cool. And Phil, I got you activated there to be an editor in the Google Doc. Appreciate you adding
Sure, I'll add that
there
in.
too. Cool. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts on Steve's portfolio?
I think Lino made an interesting point about the correlation, that you're not really diversified if something's always correlated, right? And so if you want to kind of be in that narrative, it's probably wise to buy the one that's a lower price because it will have a tendency to have greater percentage gains.
Yeah, and you could check your correlation like we showed a couple weeks ago on Yield Llama. They'll have a place to do your correlation if you want to know which two cryptos are correlated or not. And I could share that too, send that link.
I would rephrase that as not price, but market share, because growth of market share will appreciate price. And the amount that you hold is not, and the gain that you get is not relevant to the price you pay. It's relevant to the percentage of increase.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. I was going to mention that because the price isn't always equal, when the coins are all.
People
Yeah,
think Bitcoin is too expensive, but $100 worth of ETH that goes up 10% and $100 worth of Bitcoin that goes up 10% yield the exact same result, even though they have vastly different prices.
exactly. Cool. Okay. Scott, did you want to share your portfolio or any info in that regard? I don't see what else we got going on here.
I can share a little bit of my perception. I told you a few coins that I have that I think are going to be movers, but I too many things in my stuff to be able to give you in such a short period of time. As you know, I'm pretty much of a degenerate, and I have lots and lots of coins and NFTs and all of that.
Yeah.
But the ones that I shared with you of those, the one I have the most confidence in and the one that I am moving in a strong way towards right now is called Rekt. And there are a whole bunch of imitators out there, but the correct Rekt coin is going to $1 billion market cap, and that's a given as far as I'm concerned. I've been following them for 3 years now, and they have done nothing but add value to their holders. My original investment was $3.52 in gas, and they've already paid me over $2,000 in freebies. So That coin they gave me some of, and I'm rotating out of other things and into that as we speak.
What is
Okay.
the
And
ticker
that's
on that?
REKT?
Yeah, it's called Rect. There are a whole bunch of posers, but this one I could tell you if I take a minute here
Yeah,
is
I see three different ones already.
yeah, no, there's a bunch of posers, but the one that you're interested in you can find on CoinGecko, and it'll be listed. Let me give you
CoinGecko now. I have three of them. There's
so I'm trying to give you the position in the market. So hold on. It is market cap number 735 at 77 million market cap. So they've gone up over 100 points in the last 48 hours. They've climbed 100 coins in the top 1,000 in the last 48 hours.
That's good.
Yeah.
How much
is that on
Yeah.
is that on base or what is that one?
No, this is on Ethereum, and it
Oh.
is about 10 days old, 14 days old, something like this, and has already gone up significantly. The founder of this, his name is Ovi. He's OSF on Twitter, and he's one of the premier artists in the crypto world. And he is a former market professional trading stocks and commodities and whatnot for international investment banking. He retired from that to get into Web3 and chase crypto, and has become one of the premier people in crypto. So that's somebody I follow very closely and invest in his art and in his projects. I'm a holder in the Rect shares, so that's my disclaimer to you. The other thing I'll tell you is this is not financial advice. You should do your own research. Everything can and will go to zero eventually if you are not careful. And I am not a professional. However, that one right there is poised for about a 50x, and it's going to happen here soon. So
You could buy that one on, I believe, Uniswap.
yeah, you can get that on Uniswap. Pretty easy to do. Just take the contract address from CoinGecko. Go
Yeah.
find that guy and grab his contract address. Post the contract address into Uniswap, and you should be able to do a direct swap.
And give me the guy's name again. I'm going to add that to the Google Docs.
The guy's name is OSF. Is what he's Ovi Farouk, I think is his name. And let me see. If you were to go to Twitter and search, his handle would be @ OSF _ REKT. OSF
Got it.
Rekt. His PFP is a black body hoodie with drinking a drink with a pink or magenta
Yeah.
background.
Yeah, I see it.
That's your boy.
That's the one.
That guy right there is amazing, and like I say, I'm heavily into this world. I own the Rekt Guy NFT. I own Rekt, so I own Rekt drinks. So I am in this just for your transparency.
Cool.
This is the only thing that I've ever sold Bitcoin to buy. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. Okay. That's important. Yeah. Now I was
Somebody in here mentioned Mog, and Mog and Pepe are both like OG meme coin type things, are the same thing that Rekt is, and whales in both of those coins are moving into Rekt right now. So there are people that are 8 to 10 millionaire type people in Mog that are selling 50 and 100 grand to buy Rekt.
Got it. Now I was just looking at your breakdown in Telegram, and you've
Yes.
got I was just going to copy that to the Google Docs so we can share. And you
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have any Ethereum in there. You just kind of
Yeah, so I do hold some Ethereum, but most of what I hold in the Ethereum world is NFTs.
okay, but just straight Ethereum.
I
The
I
coin
do
itself.
hold transparency. I do hold Ethereum. I do hold Bitcoin. I do hold other premier coins,
Okay. Okay. Cool.
but I'm not. This cycle is not going to be about those guys. This cycle is going to be about Sol It's going to be about meme coins. It's going to be, hopefully, we're going to get an NFT summer. So there's that. And, you know, I came in really late, so I don't know what everybody said, but I heard somebody talking about a Christmas dip. I don't expect to see much of a Christmas dip. And in fact, I expect to see Bitcoin can get on a pretty serious rise here towards the end of the year. In our group, we're predicting that we're going to hit 130K in the next 90 days or less, and that we're going to peak somewhere around 150K in the summer, and then we'll either super cycle or we'll have a big bear. Either way, it's going to be somewhere to be playing the game and watching. Well, we do not see a big fallout. Now, that doesn't mean we won't have 20% or even more dips in the market, but they're going to be relatively short-lived if you look at the ones that we've been seeing.
Yeah, it's going to be the same. It'll be a short-lived, but it'll be one for sure.
Yeah, the problem is they have to shake the leverage. Too many people are using leverage, and what happens is the market makers, they have to shake those guys off or they lose too much. So this is why when you see Bitcoin go and hit 100 and a bunch of people want to short it, that it goes up, and then a bunch of people want to long it and it goes down. And so when you have both shorts and longs and you're at a number like that where it's a psychological barrier, then what the market makers do is they figure out where the majority of the leverage is and they take it. They go up and they go down by buying or selling into the market and then doing the exact opposite to fluctuate and make volatility wash out the leverage. In this way, they keep their money and they keep moving the market. Overall, it has to move the way the whole market wants, but it is being manipulated in order to keep leverage out.
The other day, we did have a near 12% correction and then back close to the old highs.
Yeah, well, if the one that just happened during this past week,
a couple of days ago, it went from like 103.5 down to 91.5. These are just general numbers, but I mean that's an almost 12% move.
And what you want to do when you're looking at that is you want to go back and look at what was the liquidations, because the liquidations are key when you see these ripples. When a coin drops and then rises and then comes back and then goes on a tear up, what they've done is they've shaken the leverage out so that people aren't making 100x gains on a 2% move. It's just the way that the market works. It's I don't know exactly how they do it because I'm not one of those guys, or I'd be doing it probably. What I do know is if you're looking at longer term, then you really don't have to worry about those kind of shakes. And if you're not levered and you're not optioned, then there's not much to be concerned about there if you have faith in the underlying asset. And that's how I get involved in projects. And you know, the number one thing for me is the community, and the tech comes as a close second. So it makes it harder to deal with the memes because there is no second. There's only the community. But that doesn't mean that there aren't good gains to be made. There's an awful lot that can be had from the people like the Dogecoins and the Shiba Inus and all that. But it's just you have to know how to play them, and I don't, so I don't play those much. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
As far as the rest of the coins, like, you know, the majority of my holdings currently are in shitcoin. I probably 40% of what I hold is Bitcoin, and maybe another 10 to 12% is ETH, and then the rest of it is going to be on longer odds. And the reason for that is because this market is in a growth phase, and we are in a serious bull with retail tails coming. And this means a rising market. And a rising market means that you can bet more broadly and have better odds of winning. I have a friend who lives in Puerto Rico and takes advantage of the crypto shelter there by living there. And 2 years ago, when we had the bull market going, he was there. And one of the guys that was a friend that he saw on the beach there all the time said he was investing $1,000 in every coin that he believed it would go up. And he was like, well, how can you do that and just spread out your value, everything, you know? And they would conversate about that. But that guy ended up becoming a multimillionaire. He made over $10 million on one of those $1,000 plays. So this is the kind of game that you can play if you're willing to risk whatever it is and say I can lose it. I mean, I probably have about, I don't know, maybe 12, 15 billion wrecked, but I'd like to see that triple. So I'm working on making that bigger because I think it's going to 50x.
I don't know. I think I'm a bigger degenerate. I'm buying it as we're talking. So
Well, I don't know how much of your last paycheck did you just go drop off at the bank while you were waiting to get into this conversation?
yeah.
No, I look at this and I look at the people, and it's the people that matter. When you're looking at crypto, it's not about so much the name or the symbol or the price. It's really about who's pushing it and who's holding it. And in the wrecked world, you got to go to the dive bar. So if you're going to go down that rabbit hole and you're buying some wrecked, you need to join their Discord, and you need to get yourself into the dive bar. The dive bar is where they talk about things, and that's where you can get some alpha on the coming changes and whatnot. And it's a community. It's very social, and this is what you're looking for when you're looking at things like Mog or Pepe. You're looking for those Telegram and Discord communities to go and see if it's energetic, see if there's a lot of people posting. Doesn't mean you have to take part. It means you need to be able to be like the FBI and go take a look and say, oh, yeah, there's a lot of people doing that. That must be big. And what's their sentiment? What's the feeling here? Right.
Yep.
And if you can, and you can start leveraging AI to start scraping that information. And so one of the ones that I have on my list is Barry, and Barry is one that scrapes crypto. It does X and it does blockchains. And so it provides analyses and information at depth on topics that are related to what we're trying to invest in or gamble in, depending on how you're looking at it. And so my hope is that I'll be able to take that kind of technology and use it to help monitor the health of my bags, so to speak. So that's my thesis right now follows along with what these people like OSF and Mando and some of the others in the community are saying, is that right now is the time to find something that you think is in a good place and is ready to go up, and to hang on to it for the ride and make sure you sell some as it goes out so that you make some money and profit.
Yeah, and you can hopefully end up with the house's money.
Yeah.
Your position,
Yeah.
kind of thing, like
Oh,
Lena
absolutely. I mean,
Or end up with a house.
$1,000 invested at 50x is $50,000, and if you can afford to throw $1,000 away on the chance of 50 grand, that's a win.
Yeah, cool. Okay, anybody else want to share? See, Susan, we're still trying to get you into some Bitcoin.
You probably bought a bunch of rack. Where's Susan at? She here?
Yeah, jump in, Susan.
Congratulations, everybody, on the milestone. That's great.
Did you join us on it?
No, I didn't. And I'm okay. I'm okay. Here, I've been listening to a lot of people really excited, and I have had no fear of missing out. I'm enjoying the ride though, and I understand it. I know what's happening, so I feel good. And you guys are just off the charts crazy with all that you know and all that you do. So it's fun. It's a vicarious experience for me.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll make it real at some point. But
at some point.
Yeah, but whenever you're ready, we're here to help you get started.
Okay.
So, all good.
I still have your instructions.
Okay, good.
The step by step.
Yeah. So
and I
Sunday.
Yep. Yeah, we got to get her in. I misspoke on the network for the Foxy. If you have used
Oh yeah.
MetaMask. So it's I'm posting it in the chat room right now. This is the network that is actually, you switch to this network if you have a MetaMask, and it's sitting in your it's sitting in this position here. You see
Okay.
it?
I'm opening it. Let's see. Oh, okay.
That main network there.
LIN Lena mainnet.
Yeah, just change your network
Lena.
to that, and then if you're anyone here is using MetaMask, it'll pop up in there. And they gave you 500 like a while back. It's been a while since they did it. It's still sitting there. It won't go away.
Right, right. They can't take it. They can only give it.
They can't get it. Yep.
Okay, cool. Let's see. Let's see. Ahmed or Victor, you want to jump in and share what you got going on and hopefully download some good info to us?
Yeah, I don't have my computer on right now, but I can just quickly. Uh, I I'm pretty much evened out after some um issues I had with I wasn't actually in the Celsius um
Little
scandal.
platform. Okay.
Yeah, and I lost quite a bit there, and I had some other things that really gave my portfolio a downturn, but I'm you know like 10% up now, and just forget what I had.
Yeah, maybe just run through your like top holdings or maybe your bottom holdings. Some of those have been more interesting today.
Yeah, I have some shit coins, but for the most part, it's um Bitcoin and ETH.
And what kind of percentage do those two make up? Are they pretty healthy chunk?
Yeah, so okay, yeah, see it now. So yeah, Bitcoin is 75%. ETH is 12%. I'm thinking of getting more ETH now that that's a pretty interesting. I didn't know that Trump um was majorly ETH. That's
Yeah, that's the largest holding.
oh wow, okay. And I don't have any Solana. I need to think about getting Solana. I'm not sure if it's too late to get in there. The rest of it is like, 3% of XMR and 3% Algorand and just some ETC. And I also have like 1% of the overall value is R. It's a pirate chain. Um, and I'm pretty much evened out on it. It hasn't really gone up. I like the idea of, zero proof and it's traceless and yeah, but it hasn't really gone up much. But I kind of bought it like 4 years ago and 4,000 R's and it yeah, it's kind of at the same price now. It's barely 28 cents.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes those projects take a while to, to show some fruition or something, but other times they go dead. And that's why like what Scott was talking about with the community, if you see what's going on, they're active, that's a better sign than, the last message was 6 months ago type of thing.
Yeah, the community is active. They have a really cool like all these little free giveaways and I would participate in it. Like yeah, they would just drop directly like every day they're just like constantly giving away coins.
Wow.
Well, privacy coins are a unique challenge because they come with, the government is against privacy coins to a large extent, but there is some support now for privacy in blockchain and crypto. And just an FYI, the ETH roadmap shows private transactions coming. So that is in the future. Hey, one thing I noticed that I didn't put on my list, Brad, was Sui. Did anybody talk about Sui?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, I think that's a real good one, and I'm in that one too.
Cool. Thanks. Okay. So yeah, it looks like I'm at your kind of traditional breakdown. So that, you know, a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum, we shouldn't go too wrong there. Are you looking to add any positions? You know, maybe some other newer
Yeah,
coins or
definitely more ETH and
Hmm.
I need to. I mean,
Solana, you said.
Solana and sounds like Sui is had good returns for everyone, but and I need to find out what's going to be spiking up in the coming months and year,
Okay.
especially related to the new administration that's going to be in office.
Yeah, and all the pro crypto folks that he's adding to the cabinet or into various positions, that kind of thing. Very cool. Okay, Victor, you want to share your breakdown?
Nothing to share. Been offered a job 3 weeks ago. So after working 8 months as a contractor and going through training at the same time with a full workload. So I'm just watching the market and attending some meetups to check on the status and things. So, but yeah, I've been doing very well. Back in the days, I used to mine. I used to build miners um, until it's become cheaper to have them manufactured overseas and brought over. Um, Currently, we purchased a warehouse and converting it to be able to hold rack miners. We've had three-phase voltage power supply from the telephone poles and the transformer installed right next to our warehouse in Toledo, Ohio. So those interested in that area in setting up their mining that can't bear the noise in their residence, or their spouse can't, or whoever. Yeah, great for heating, but sometimes the noise is intolerable. Basically, we just give you the rack space and clamp a meter around the power cable, and you help pay in the cost and the electricity used in kilowatts. So
Got it.
it is a
Got it.
very great alternative instead of running it at home.
Yeah.
Unless you have a garage is separate from the house or something. But yeah.
Well, yeah, especially with electrical rates in California here. So I know
Yeah.
Michael's
Ohio,
doing the solar thing to help with that, but
yeah,
yeah, it can be
Ohio is
challenging.
great. Electrical rates are great in Ohio. I used to live in Michigan, which is a bit higher, but no, I mean, Ohio is an excellent place to live in terms of income tax and the utilities and so forth.
What's the rate per kilowatt hour there?
Oh, I don't have it on top of my head, but even in my apartment, my residential has gone down significantly.
Nice, nice.
Used to live in southeastern Michigan, where rates are much higher, cost of living is much higher.
Got it.
But yeah, I ought to share that. Start putting together that information and share that with some of my crypto meetings.
Okay, okay. I do have a vacant residential lot I'm trying to get rid of in Toledo. If you need a vacant residential lot, let me know.
Okay,
There. So
certainly.
cool, cool. Good info. And glad to hear something going on in Ohio.
Hmm.
Positive. Sometimes we don't always hear the seems like we hear bad things out of the Midwest sometimes too much, but so
Yeah,
good to hear that for sure on the
thank you.
electrical
Thank
rates.
you. Mhm.
Okay. I think that was that everybody. Double check this. I know a couple jumped off. Okay. Good. Anybody else have anything to share? We've got our in-person meetup just a week from tomorrow. Kind of jam that in before the holidays. Um, where we meet over at me and Ed's off of Willow between Alluvial and Knees at 12 o'clock noon. Usually goes till about 2 o'clock, but feel free to come and go as your schedule allows if you're in the area. Yeah, see, Lena, I see you unmuting.
Yeah,
Anything to
I
add?
know. I got a couple people are going to go with this time. New people for the meetup.
Cool, cool.
I'll bring them with me. And then
Okay.
don't invite Scott no more. He's costing me money here. He's going to make me a bunch of money. I'm not sure.
No, everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. And Scott, someday I hope to get up there and meet you in person,
Where are
and
you out of,
catch up
Scott?
with my brother again up there.
I'm up in North Idaho. We live in Post Falls.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Very cool. Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I will post the recording here in later today sometime and add that to the event page. And we will see you next month. Probably we're looking at the second weekend to avoid the first weekend, New Year's and whatever the calendar falls that way.
All right.
All right. Have a good day, everyone. Take care.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.